Hi there, it's your new favorite channel back again, and I'm pissed AF, because I planned on dropping part 2 of my hard to swallow pills, but one opinion turned into its own video, so here it is. You read the title. Today's menu is all about this year's VMAs, so let's get started. This is about to be a long one, so get your popcorn. First of all, why do K-poppers care so much about the VMAs? The VMAs ratings are at an all-time low. They've never been more insignificant. All our outrage has done is give them more relevancy. Everybody knows the VMAs was always the drunk best friend of award shows. They're really annoying, but you put up with them because they're entertaining. The VMAs have always been about controversy, show-stopping performances and OMG moments. It's always been more about exposure than the actual awards. People haven't taken the VMAs seriously since 2009, when Kanye West snatched Taylor Swift and told her Beyoncé should have won her award. By the way, this was the best ever VMAs. If you ever watch them, make sure you watch 2009. So the big question, are the VMAs xenophobic and racist? MTV has been desperately reaching out to different groups to push up their dismal ratings. I don't think their intent would be to offend K-pop fans, the very group they were trying to attract to boost ratings. However, if the VMAs discriminates on the basis of ethnicity, it's merely symptomatic of an entire music industry that is generally racist from the top down, as historically, race has always played a part in the classification and categorization of music. But let's play devil's advocate and argue that we don't believe MTV's decisions were racist or xenophobic. But were they segregatory? Absolutely. I'm not American, but it doesn't take a genius to see how segregated America is, and it really shows through the music industry. The white artists are often treated as pop, while the black artists are shoved into urban, with Hispanics usually put in Latin categories. Americans know this. That's why different communities created their own award shows. The black community created the BET Awards. The Hispanic community created the Latin Grammys and other awards shows to celebrate music in their community. Again, I'm just engaging in a thought exercise and playing devil's advocate here. But if the other groups get to do this, why is it that white America cannot lean into prioritizing their own too? It's like everybody else is allowed to have their own exclusive spaces, but when it's a white awards show, they have to include everyone else, and if they don't, they're racist. And they still included you and you still called them racist. They even added another category and you still called them racist. I have to laugh. They just can't win. If you really want to give BTS their flowers, why don't Asian Americans also promote their own platforms to celebrate Asian talent like every other community already has? Did you ever think about it that way? I didn't. But playing devil's advocate forces you to think differently. Again, it's not necessarily my personal opinion. The other side of me would argue that award shows like the VMAs have the biggest pedestal for the mainstream entertainment industry, and therefore should be inclusive and transparent in showing what, and who, is dominating pop culture, regardless of which community they come from, even if it means highlighting something that is considered by many to be a niche. What I will say is, you can accuse them of xenophobia, but just know that Korean award shows are equally just as biased in their own way too. When they hand small international awards to Western artists and disqualify them from major awards, even when those Western acts are outpacing the Korean ones in terms of success. You wouldn't see K-net screaming xenophobia and discrimination at Camila Cabello or Maroon 5 being excluded from a Song of the Year nomination, despite being more than eligible. Just as Koreans will jump to celebrate their own, I wouldn't expect any less from Americans. I would expect them to give nods to others, but to shine the brightest lights on themselves and their cultural neighbors first, just as Korea does. So Maroon 5 will just have to deal with a bigger award for having one of the all-time top-selling singles in Korean chart history, and K-pop will have to do the same at the VMAs. I actually think in a strange way, a K-pop category is a step forward for the community. Whichever way you look at, you cannot deny, it shows that they recognize K-pop as pop culture and part of the pop landscape for the foreseeable future. It further legitimizes these artists in the eyes of Americans, by giving them a seat at the table. Plus most casual music listeners know the bare minimum of BTS and Blackpink, So when you show them an entire category, it shows that K-pop isn't just a trend with a couple groups, but a whole world with a vast multitude of music acts. Visibility boosts opportunity, and this category is providing much needed visibility for these artists in American spaces. I don't know about you, but that gets a thumbs up from me. But wait, you think I'm going to let MTV off that easy? You know I like to argue both sides. The intention behind Best K-pop may have been nice, but the execution was poor. For starters, why name it Best K-pop? Why have a category specific to one country and one country alone? An improvement would be a Best International category that recognized achievements in world music and global success. Then you can give an award to the international artists dominating world music, or dedicate awards to prominent artists from each region, commending their regional achievements. The MTV EMAs have already been doing this for years, with K-pop acts winning in the past, so I don't see why you couldn't do the groundwork, or simply pick up a phone to across the pond to ensure they introduced this category thoughtfully and intelligently, instead of lazily labeling it Best K-pop and patting yourselves on the back for a job poorly done. Yes, I'm judging. Overall, the cynic in me says who cares? The VMAs has always been rigged. It's not about the actual quality of the music video that decide nominations, but rather the quality of the artist's management negotiating with the MTV executives. Most of the time the artists only bother to show up if they know they'll win something big, or if they're guaranteed a chance to perform and promote their music. That's all these award shows are about. They are just a sales and exposure tool. And that's the brutally honest tea. BTS representatives at Sony probably did all they could to get them 5 nominations. They were probably satisfied with that achievement, even if ARMYs aren't. And just some perspective for ARMYs with regard to record-breaking sales. In 2017, Luis Fonsi's Despacito ended up outselling every BTS title track put together. It is the most viewed music video of all time. Spent a record 16 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and was certified diamond, not platinum, not multi-platinum, diamond. And how many VMA nominations did it get? Just 1. Not even in a major category. And it lost. It didn't even win a single Grammy. And I don't remember anybody on the internet screaming racism back then. It's funny how people cherry pick when to be outraged and when they could care less. I have to laugh. But grab your teacups again because I'm not done yet. Didn't you know Kanye West spilled all the tea on the VMAs back in 2016? That's right, when he called out Beyonce's team for playing politics.
MTV told me, Mr. West, out of respect to you, I will let you know that Beyonce is winning the video tonight for Formation over Hotline Bling and Famous. Beyonce, I was hurt. Because I heard that you said you wouldn't perform unless you won Video of the Year over me and over Hotline Bling. In my opinion, now don't go trying to diss Beyonce. She is great. Taylor Swift is great. We are all great people. We are all equal. But sometimes we be playing the politics too much and forgetting who we are.
It's crystal clear from this that it all comes down to who plays the best politics. And if BTS didn't get nominated in major fields, it's because their reps got outmaneuvered by reps for other artists. That's just the business. Welcome to the Wild West. The moral of the story? Play the game, or you'll get played. Like Kanye did in 2016, and that's his karma for his antics in 2009 Kanye Crimea River. My prediction is that they are clearly setting up Taylor Swift to win in the major fields. She has the most nominations, and in case you didn't notice, her team is in full album rollout mode. She has the September cover of Vogue to coordinate with the release of her new album Lover on the 23rd of August, 3 days before the VMAs. And guess who was announced as the first performer? Try to think strategically. The VMAs will be Taylor's equivalent of a K-pop comeback stage. This would have been set in stone months in advance, and Taylor's PR team have worked too hard planning this rollout for years. To have BTS and ARMYs potentially stealing the spotlight away from Taylor as she rolls out her comeback. It would be great for ARMYs, but that would be a PR loss for Taylor's team. It's their jobs to make sure the headlines will be about her, and they played the game perfectly. and K-pop artists US reps should learn to do the same. So we establish that BTS deserved representation in the larger categories? Great. But what about Blackpink and the amazing videos from Latin artists this past year? ARMYs conveniently forgot to mention that part. Blackpink made their mark on American pop culture in 2019 too. And if we're talking views, Kill This Love also broke records and is the more popular video amongst the two. And from a stylistic point of view, that video had stellar art direction, editing and set design, but only received nominations in the BTS categories. And yes, I'm calling them the BTS categories, because I'm partially convinced MTV only thought to create these categories to guarantee BTS awards. Joke's on them, they aren't even attending. Plus ARMY's already decided there's no chance for anybody else to win these awards, so it's a write-off, meaning Blackpink will leave with nothing. If the outrage is for art's sake, then I'm baffled. Because looking back on BTS's stellar videography, if I personally rated BTS best music videos, Boy With Love wouldn't be in my top 10. Also, Latin music videos dominate YouTube and streaming arguably more than K-pop and American music put together and was underrepresented. So time to address the frauds. Spare me your false activism. For example, some individual ARMYs, not all, but some, didn't care about inclusivity or balanced media representation. They didn't care that Asians or Hispanics were being sidelined, only that it was BTS who got sidelined. Screw everyone else. I wish they'd just admit that, instead of using activism to pretend they're fighting for equal media representation for all races, when in reality you're only fighting to grow BTS's trophy cabinet. To me that's the epitome of faux activism. Selective outrage annoys me, and that's why I saw a lot of hypocrisy behind the VMAs racist hashtag. Again, I said some, not all. I'm sure it's a minority, but to those few, after reading your tweets, just know that your activism lacks sincerity. That's all I have to say for now. I will be watching this year's VMA performances and sipping slow. Let me know if you'll be watching too. And thanks for joining me on this thought exercise. Also, in this video I said I was just playing devil's advocate, remember? But watch people come for me in the comments anyway. Oh well, I said what I said and you're still here. So thanks for that watch time, honey bun. If you want to send in your own unpopular opinions, you can comment below. Otherwise the email is in the description and I'll respond to them all in a future video. Click like if you enjoyed, or dislike if you hate me. Subscribe for more. And we all can have tea again soon. Okay, time to go play Taylor Swift. Bye.